Now we're going to talk more SEC with Brent Beard, who joins us from First Coast News and also College Sports Today. Hello, my friend. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing well. Always good to be with you, Mark, as we head into getting closer to the national championship game. The SEC did rather well in bowls at 6-2. We're trying to keep up, if we can, with the people who are coming and going, which is not easy, to say the least. Georgia and Josh Brooks is their new AD. People may miss that today, but he was promoted from within. Biggest news for Bulldog fans, obviously, JT Daniels staying. They do have a lot of guys who are leaving at this point. The Florida Gators got a big pickup today. Antonio Shelton, defensive lineman, 6'2", 327. He's a redshirt senior, so he'll have a year at Florida. So that's just a drop in the bucket, young man, compared to what's going on in the league over the last few days.
And underline that 6-2 mark, because it's rather impressive when you consider Ole Miss was sub 500 in the SEC.
Yeah.
They beat a really good Indiana team. They had all those opt-outs that Ole Miss. Sure, Indiana was missing its starting quarterback, but pretty much brought the entire team to the Outback Bowl, while Ole Miss was down to playing John Rice Plumlee at slot receiver, and they were patchworking. That team didn't have Elijah Moore there, their best receiver, and so forth, and Jerrion Ely, their leading rusher, and so forth, and we're able to pull out a win there. Certainly no embarrassment in Auburn losing to Northwestern when Auburn was losing a lot of players. So was Northwestern, but that Northwestern team is really good.
Yeah.
And for a Kentucky team, we just talked to Kevin McGuffey, for them being under 500 as well in the SEC to knock off a ranked North Carolina State team out of the ACC at 8-3. Those are significant wins because they're not like-seeded games.
Right.
To win them, Brent, shows a lot.
Well, it does. The Kentucky game was here in Jacksonville, as you know, at the Tax Slayer Bowl. So it really one of the better games, frankly. I mean, Mark, if you remember that Kentucky game and Ole Miss Bowl games, they were going on about the same time. I was almost having to change batteries in the remote just to be able to keep up with all of it. But I listen, in a lot of these, and I'm sure you talked about this, Kentucky's having a whole lot of these guys who are coming back, which I think is a real feather in their cap at this point, too. You mentioned the Auburn situation. Smoke Monday, the safety declared today that he is returning. So I think that's important to them, particularly after losing Anthony Schwartz and Seth Williams, who I thought really were two of the better receivers in the league. And I tell you, Mark, you've seen this so far. I think Bryan Harsin, one of his big priorities is going to be able to work with Bo Nix and get his fundamentals straightened out. I mean, his footwork, frankly, at times is just absolutely terrible. And when he's under pressure, it's obvious he doesn't trust his offensive line. And Auburn beat writers would tell you that Auburn, frankly, has done a really poor job in recruiting offensive linemen as of late. And they're hoping to get some grad transfers in that will plug a few of those holes. So I can see that as a quick priority for Harsin as he comes in and is able to deal with the SEC. So, and again, Mark, as you know, we had other bowl games. Arkansas was not able to play. South Carolina, Tennessee, or I would have been very interested in instead of 8 games, we would have had 11, and that would have been pretty interesting too.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing Arkansas in particular take on TCU. I thought that was going to be a pretty good ball game. Staying in Auburn, how did the Bryan Harsin hire strike you?
Well, I think Bryan, I believe he's 69-19 at Boise, which is impressive. That's impressive in the backyard against the neighborhood kids. But The thing that concerns me about the hire, frankly, is two things. One is, how is Bryan going to, let's be honest, deal with the political issues that are always at Auburn? I know some of the big money moosters kind of rose out of the woods to get involved with this. So that's one issue he's going to have to deal with. What would be the eternal issue with Auburn there. I think the other thing is going to be, and Mark, you know the league, you know how tough it is to recruit in the league. Will Bryan be able to bring some guys with him who know the SEC, and will he be able to get in there and elbow his way in as far as recruiting is concerned? I know he said over the last few days that they would like to kind of recruit more nationally, but I think that's going to be two things that are going to be really priority for him, is to distance himself from the political factions at Auburn, and also be able to just jump in and understand that it is a really difficult place to recruit and to learn his way around. So it's going to take him some time. Hopefully Auburn will be patient with him. But if they do, I do think he's a good football coach.